Hi there, this is Rob Darwin, Product Manager of Digital Mail DM Club. It's Wednesday the 17th of April 2013, and today we're going to be seeing some stuff that Rich and some others have been working on our new notes system and our new shopping system. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Rich, who's going to show us some stuff.
Okay, well, in a departure from our usual presentation format, I'm not going to present this on a user story by user story basis, but just sort of show it to you and explain the main benefits from the end user's point of view. So, starting with DM Notes. No? There. Where is it? I thought I had all my windows open already, but some new ones have appeared. Anyway, yeah, that's it. This is the homepage of the new rebuilt DM Notes. It's a remake of the old system featuring identical content, but is based on a content management system called Drupal. From the point of view of user, has a few advantages over the old system. It's faster for a start. A page doesn't take 5 seconds to load. Page at random. Wow. Yeah. Try one more. There's any improvement. And as you can see, it's got a sort of revamped visual design, which is hopefully clearer. Without the menu down the left-hand side, there's less clutter on screen when you read your note, and there's more space to present things like screenshots and other content. And the whole thing is just hopefully more legible and looks a bit better. The menuing system has been completely redesigned and is in the swoop down menu, which shows you the entire section you're in and the headings for the other sections, and you can optionally click on these sort of flippy triangle things to see as many notes, the contents of as many sections as you want at once. Another difference of this menu system is it supports up to 5 levels of layering. At the moment we only have 2, but there's an intention to reorganise the content because some of the sections are getting a little bit big and unwieldy to give the whole thing more structure. The site also features a new search facility which is powered by Google. It has a couple of advantages over the old one. It's like available on every page. You don't have to leave the page to see the results.
You don't have to spell it right either.
No, yeah, that was an unintentional demonstration of one of its features. It's got automatic spelling correction, so.
Great, so should we have...
This is the updated version of UB Shop. It's got slightly changed content. The main changed content is a revamped introduction to DM Switchboard 12, which we hope sells it a little bit more persuasively than the old version. Sort of, there's a whistle-stop tour through business benefits, costs,
Hasn't that been there for a while?
setup, and support. No, it's only been on Trev. That's the main page that's changed. And now moving on to the new features. The main new feature is something called Who's on Chat, which is a sort of web chat sales system. Now,
Hi, I'm Rob Darwin. I'm the Product Manager of DM Club, and it is Wednesday the 17th of April 2013, and today I'm looking forward to presenting to you with some colleagues some of the new DM Switchboard 12 features, and welcome to all those who are on the web watching this later on. And there's basically 3 kind of themes to the features we're doing. We're making it easier for entry users to get stuff started with things like the prompt recording your studio. For the people who want to do really advanced call flow, we've got things like the custom reception menus and the out-of-hours features on all extensions. And for power users, you'll like some of the refinement of CLI, refinement, click-to-call, and StreamPop. So I'm going to hand over to Alex now, who's going to do our first user story.
Okay, out of hours, let's just get a couple of new windows up. We had, in the old version, we had quite a few people saying that when one department was closed, they didn't necessarily want it, that it just went to voicemail. They'd like it maybe that if the support department was closed, it might go through to the general admin department or vice versa. And so we've got that now available. I'll show you the existing one on the left and the new one on the right. So I'll just go to my old switchboard down here. So for example, the reception never had any of these advanced options, but for example, a team had the concept here that you were either available on the company default or there was some kind of manual override, and when your company was closed, it basically it would just give a notice, and then you could either hang up, do voicemail or DM answers, and that was it. So it didn't really make any difference whether the reason you weren't answering the calls because you were closed or because nobody could be bothered to answer the phone or whatever. So this is the new version on the right. And we'll look at the team again. Now if we go to the advanced option here, you can see you've still got the same availability thing here. So obviously if you're always open, it doesn't really matter what happens when you're closed, because you're never closed. But if you've got say a company default, when you're closed, you've now got the option here of either hanging up as we had before, or having voicemail or DM answers, or you can play a message before hanging up, or the really important one is you can transfer to an extension. Now that extension could be a team. Quite typically it would be a team. It could even be another reception department. And that's one of the things you'll find about the new Switchboard 12 is that rather than just being fixed as reception to team to personal, you can jumble all these things around to your heart's content. I mean, I think that will make things a lot more powerful, but at the same time it does mean that users could in theory get themselves tied up into a few more knots, because there are there's more rope to play with. So here we go. Let's just say when the main support team is closed, it can go to some out-of-hours mobile, which is a personal extension. So you can play with that, and you can also have a message which will always playlist, putting you through to the emergency. Why not there? To the out-of-hours service. Yeah, but you might want to say that kind of stuff. So that's out of hours, and it's the same on people. If you look at the old one here, there was nothing special there. Whereas the new one, we've got this extra set of stuff here. So let's say do transfer to DM answers. Again, you can put a message in. So that's out of hours. I think it's fairly straightforward. I don't know if anyone has any questions on that.
Who will see the message?
I'm going to present the no response actions, and this is all about increased options when the caller doesn't respond to a menu or an extension doesn't answer. I'm Bertram Big, and when I called Williams Widgets, I was hoping for a support team. But I didn't hear one in the menu, so let's have a look at how the reception currently works. Well, I've got sales, engineering, and general admin, and at the moment it plays indefinitely. So let's change that. It's only going to play the menu twice, and if I haven't chosen, I will then be transferred to an extension, and it'll be sent to the sales team, and it won't say goodbye anymore. It will be saying nothing selected, going to sales. Okay, once I click that, if I don't select one of those three options after the menu's played twice, I'm whisked off to the sales team. Let's go to the sales team now. Here's the sales team, and I've now got the point that Bertram is through to sales, but they're really busy selling lots of stuff today, and they did not answer the call within 20 seconds. So what are we going to do about that? Well, what we're going to do is transfer to another extension. Okay? And the general admin team hopefully do have a bit of time, so the call will be transferred to the general admin team if the sales team are not available. And don't worry, they are going to answer the call, so I won't string poor old Bertram Biggs along for any longer. But let's have a look at another case now of Bill Williams. Bill Williams normally answers his own phone calls, but let's say he's not available and the phone's been ringing for 20 seconds. Now, he's got a PA, or in this case actually a colleague who is his son, who's Henry, and we're going to transfer the call to Henry Williams if the call is not answered within 20 seconds. And that's all set up. So, just to conclude, if the caller doesn't respond to the reception menu, or if a team or a person doesn't answer within a specific time, then there's now a wide range of options of how we can handle a call.
Wild applause.
No response.
Right, no response. Right, any questions or comments around the table?
Most of these features have been explained already, but in the reception tab, you have a special advanced option now. Actually, I should show you guys how it looks before.
You can't do it in prep. You want to see what it looked like before.
So currently in the live system, there is no advanced option. As you can see, reception, there is an advanced option where, again, like Alex showed, there's opening, there's always open, company default, and you can override the hours. If you do override hours or company default, when the company is closed, you can again have the choices whether you can hang up, you can play the close notice and then hang up, take a voicemail, take DM answers message, or transfer to extension. Close notice is played regardless of what option you choose, so it will play, apart from hang up, so it will play the close notice, then hang up, it will play the close notice, then go to voicemail, so you might want to change your close notice depending on what option you've chosen. So for example, if you want to send your callers to DM answers, you might say our opening times are 9 to 5, outside of these times you can leave a message with our live receptionist and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Or you can transfer to extension, where you can have, say, Jack Williams on standby for out of office hours support.
It's interesting, that one, because Sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. No, I'll come
Go
back
for
later. Well, okay. I was going to say that if I was going to do DM answers, I wouldn't want to give a message like that because that's an invitation for somebody to put the phone down.
Yeah.
I'd just put it straight through.
Okay. That's some of the options. There's also, if you don't want to have Pro VoiceOver and you just want to change the default greeting, you could change that now. So instead of saying thank you for calling Williams Widgets, you can say, I don't know, thank you and welcome to my company. If you'd like to be put through to the support department, press 1 or something like that. So you can customize it, both your greeting and the repeat prompt. And also you don't have to be transferred to 201 sales. You can select that to go straight to a personal extension if need be.
So those greeting and repeat prompts. That is, as soon as you create the plan, that just automatically sets like that.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you can amend that to add whatever you want.
Yeah.
And one of the typical uses might be 0 to go to an operator, which
Yeah.
you could never do before, but now you can.
Yeah, that's it. So you
Yogi, would you like to do 0 to go to an operator?
How do you do that?
0 on
I don't know.
night, as in after 9.
Sorry.
Yes, it's a bit confusing. 0 comes after 9. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, that's it.
So Jack's the operator now.
Yeah.
Well, who's Jack?
I just made that up.
Is he Henry's dad? No.
I think he's an interloper.
Is there any questions?
What I'm going to show you is the three main modes of caller ID. It's in the in the handout here. That it's got kind of 5 different things, but I'm just going to show you 3 of the main different ones. The first one is a normal external, somebody calling you from the PSTN, and what you'll get now. There we are. I'll put it there. So this is someone calling from that number, and this is where we're slightly different from what some people do with this field, which is this is a thing you only get on SIP handsets, and it's showing you rather than who it's from, because we don't know who the hell it's from, because that's all we know. But what we do know that you might be interested in is this is for extension 301 Alex Lake, and if this had more digits, it would show you what company it was. But sometimes you've got more than one hat. If you imagine, like, if you were in local hero mode, you don't know if you're supposed to be the pub guy or the minicab driver or the plumber, and so this will tell you, essentially what mode you're supposed to be answering the phone in. This is always something. This always has to be something you can call someone back on. So that always is the caller ID. Before we had a bit of a mess on this one. It was I think John Quick picked me up on this, because essentially sometimes you'd have something where it would give you something which you couldn't physically return the call from, because it'd say, instead of a number here, it would be saying, hi, extension 301, company blah, and if you tried to just do a redial or call back, it just said error. Anyway, now it's all safely callbackable. The second example, I believe, is an internal call. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
So that's telling me it's an internal call from extension 312, who's John or someone or other, and it has to be from 312 there, so I can just do a call back to call back to John. And then the last example is the transfer one, which is quite interesting actually. We discovered that people didn't have their phone set up to do transfers, so they couldn't do mid-call menus at all. So anyway, here's a call coming in. So there we go. That's an internal transfer from extension 309.
I'm now going to present Click to Call. I'm Bertram Biggs, and I like making a lot of telephone calls. And
Bertram Big?
Bertram Big, yeah. And I don't like having to dial telephone calls. I've got a wonderful CRM system, and luckily I've got a very helpful person who runs my CRM system. So I pointed him at one of the DM notes on the digital mail system, and I then went and got my CRM person to set up this very simple URL which will place the phone call for me. Okay? Now, it really is that easy, and I'm now going to demonstrate that. So, let's have a go.
You control click it.
Well, that was complicated, wasn't it? So, in my CRM system, very simple URL, and I've done the call. Now, sometimes when I'm making my calls, I like to have a big spreadsheet of important facts, and I just run down the spreadsheet. And again, we've got a nice little example here of how we can place a call from a spreadsheet. Click on the button again, and you can see the call is being placed, and I'm going to stop the call. So, summarising, I can now click to call using my switchboard 12, either from a modification on an existing web application, or I can do it from my CRM system. That's it.
Let's see how this one goes. I'm just setting up a switchboard. That's Alex's Grog Emporium. I've got a DDI for someone called Serge, and if you ring that number, it'll go through to one of his phones. But what we can do as well as that is have a screen pop now. So that's in. Yeah. So at the moment it'll just. So what we've got is it's actually called web pop. But when the call comes in to that extension, it will pop this URL. Now I've got it just set up to do Google there. That's a bit boring. What we can do though is do a search for the, in fact that's a good example, that one there. So search. So what I've got here is when a call comes in, it will use the caller ID of the call in the URL that it's going to pop. So let's save that. Right, okay, it's registered now. So I'm currently taking calls as Serge, and then if I call myself, there you go. It did a search on Google for the caller ID, which is my mobile number. I'm going to hang up now. So typically this sort of feature is used in quite a similar way with a CRM system, where maybe it'll do a reverse lookup of the caller's, the customer's phone number, but we don't have such a CRM system at the moment. This is the next best thing. Interesting, it's come up with all these things. Let's just, I'll just get another phone just to try and look different, just to prove it's not cheat.
I've got a phone here.
Okay, well, that is you on here. Does this phone work, I wonder? This is one that's thrown out. So that'd be quite amusing one, wouldn't it? You could do whophonedme.co.uk/ with the number. Sorry?
Normally, when you got those PPI people calling you from that number, it says and loads of reviews.
So who are these guys? They used to have our number.
So,
Yeah. Okay, now there's a few subtleties to this, which I can get with this settings thing. You can turn it off completely. Say you want to be getting on with some web stuff, and you know you don't want this thing popping up, and then whilst you're sort of typing around some document, suddenly this thing kind of appears before your eyes, and you maybe kind of totally lost the track of what you were doing before. You can have this thing called auto re-enable. Now this is part of anti-flood. Anti-flood is, if you imagine like on a busy day for digital mail, if you've got the first call in, it pops your screen, fine, and you're reading about this customer because it's done a reverse lookup. But then maybe 5 seconds later, somebody else calls in, and then the black, you're talking to the first customer, now you've got the second customer's details on your screen. You definitely do not want that. So essentially, the way we've got it at the moment, you can only have one active web pop screen at a time. So when you get the call, this will uncheck itself. So whilst you're in the middle of a call, web pop will be disabled, and then because this is enabled, as soon as that call is finished, this will then become re-enabled again. So as soon as you finish your call, the next call can then disrupt your screen. So you may want to say, look, sometimes I need a few seconds to kind of clear up, finish off the call, wrap up, do a little typing on my CRM system, just detailing what happened in the call, in which case I'll tell you when you can re-enable the web pop, so I'll leave that blank. The other option here is pop new window. At the moment, what it does is all windows pop to one window which is called like web pop, and so it means that you can position it where you want it, and it'll be there in a nice controlled position. If you say pop new window, every time a new call comes in, it'll blast a new window at default screen positions and size, and you could quite rapidly get like lots and lots of windows, which you might want to leave them hanging around, or you might not. So you've got the option there. I guess the easiest way to do this is to do it on the web phone. So I am Serge, and I am a member of Alex's Grog Emporium, and if you want to have maybe, let's see now, people, Serge. Maybe I'd like to have a pre-announcement for Serge. So we'll say something like, Serge is a very important man. And then whilst it's ringing, I'm trying to call Serge. Very important. Okay. The only reason I'm activating it again was because I did it too soon, and the TTS hadn't finished. Do you know what TTS is? It's text-to-speech, which is where we create the robot sound files.
Serge is a very important man. I'm trying to call Serge, but he really very busy and very, very important. I'm trying to call Serge, but he really very busy and very, very important. I'm trying to call Serge, but he really very busy and very, very important.
Right,
I'm trying
okay,
to...
right. Okay. Right. Now let's do something a bit better.
Welcome to the prompt recording studio. Accept whisper for personal call to 301. Confirmation of Dan login. Person search for pre-announce.
I'm trying to call...
Person search pre-announce.
Okay.
Serge is a very important man.
Press 2 to change. 4 for pre-speak again. Speak the new prompt after the beep.
Hi, my name is Serge, and I'm very important.
Press 2 to change. 4 for previous. 6 for next. 5 to listen again. Hi, my name is Serge, and I'm very important.
Okay.
Person search for pre-announce.
I'm trying to call Serge, but he really very busy and very, very important.
Press 2 to change. Repeat the new prompt after the beep.
Okay, I'm trying to get Serge, but I know he's very busy, so be prepared to wait. Okay, I'm trying to get Serge, but I know he's very busy, so be prepared to wait.
Press 2 to change. 4 for previous.
Okay, well that's that.
5 to listen again.
So I can just hang up. Okay.
When
So
you
which
put
one's-
her saying
Her.
Serge is very busy and very, very important and it just keeps going over and over, is that because you've got it set for repeat?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can say, so you can set a time, for say one time every 10 seconds or?
No, you can't. You have to make sure that your prompt is 10.
My name is Serge, and I'm very important. Okay, I'm trying to get Serge, but I know he's very busy, so be prepared for wait. Okay, I'm trying to get Serge, but I know he's...
Hello, this is Serge. Oh, hello, Serge. How are you? Right, that's it. That is the prompt recording.